I am Ishwari Vadlamudi, working as Assistant Professor in St. Francis College for Women, Begumpet. Today we are going to discuss Lesson 7, Group Work Skills. This lesson is about understanding the group work skill. The main purpose of this text is to discuss about the concept and different skills used by the social group worker in dealing with the group. The objectives of this particular lesson is to explain the concept of group work skills and to understand the different skills used by the group worker. Now let us discuss the concept of group work skills. The term skill refers to the special ability that a person has in carrying out a particular task. All professional workers obtain specific skills relevant to their professional work. In a general sense, skill means the capacity to perform activities. The Webster Dictionary defines it as a knowledge of and expertness in execution and performance. Virginia Robinson refers to skill as the capacity to set in motion and control a process of change in specific material in such a way that the change that takes place in the material is effected with the greatest degree of consideration for utilization of the quality and capacity of the material. Trekker defines methods and skills as methods means the purposeful use of insights and understanding based upon a body of knowledge and principles. Skill is the capacity to knowledge and understanding to given situation. There are different ways to identify skills. For example, some scholars identify specific activities such as communicating, attending to feelings, conflict solving, planning, recording and so on, whereas others may concentrate on what we shall refer to as core skills such as communication, listening, analytical thinking, self-control and so on. These core skills enable a person to carry out many of the tasks listed above with the ease. A professional approach is characterized by the techniques and skills used to accomplish tasks. In identifying the professional skills, a reference to tasks is made to highlight the skills by giving details of actual practice situation. This at times results in confusion between tasks and skills. For example, Core A identified the following group leadership skills: active listening, restarting, clarifying, summarizing, questioning, interpreting, confronting, reflecting, feeling, supporting, empathizing, facilitating, initiating, setting goals, evaluating, giving feedback, suggesting, protecting, disclosing oneself, modeling, linking, blocking undesirable behavior and terminating. It is obvious that Core identifying the tasks that a group leader has to carry out while leading the group to function smoothly to achieve its objectives. The same task can also be defined as the role of group leader. A closer examination of these tasks reveal that listening, restarting, clarifying, summarizing, questioning and interpreting in particular and some other tasks in general will require an ability on the part of the leader to be able to communicate well. Therefore, the skill a leader needs to have is communication. But as it is obvious, there are other abilities. For example, thinking, which will help the leader to analyze and understand the persons and their behavior objectively. Therefore, it is obvious that skill is an ability which helps you to carry out a task or variety of tasks. The skill of surgery is, for example, used for accomplishing different kinds of tasks. A further expertise to use the skill for carrying a task, for example, mending the heart or eye, gives the surgeon a more specific skill of heart surgery or eye surgery. But the basic skill remains surgery. Many other authors like Corey make these skills. For example, Tosland and Rivas identified the following group leadership skills involving group members, attending to others, expressing self, responding to others, focusing group communication, making group processes explicit, or in other words, explaining the group norms, clarifying content, guiding group interaction. Trekker has identified the following basic skills of group work: skill in establishing purposeful relationship, skill in analyzing the group situation, skill in participation with the group, skill in dealing with the group feelings, skill in program development, skill in using agency and community resources, and skill in evaluation. Group leadership skills are behaviors or activities that help the group to achieve its purpose and task and help members achieve their personal goals. Both workers and members use leadership skills, although the worker ordinarily uses them more than any other member of the group. Some of the basic skills necessary for the group leadership are categorized as follows in 3 categories. The first one, facilitating group processes; second one, data gathering and assessment; third one, action. These are 3 of the most common functions of group worker. Skills are classified on the basis of their most common functions in the group. However, skills listed under one category may on occasion be used in another category, particularly if they are combined with other skills. Now let us discuss facilitating group process, which includes attending skills. It refers to non-verbal behavior such as eye contact, body position, and verbal behavior that convey empathy, respect, warmth, trust, genuineness, and honesty. Attending skills are useful in establishing rapport as well as climate of acceptance and cohesiveness among group members. The next skill in facilitating group process is expressive skill. Expressive skills are also important for facilitating group processes. Workers should be able to help participants express thoughts and feelings about important problems, tasks or issues facing the group, as well as to reiterate and summarize them when necessary. Members should also be helped to express their thoughts and feelings as freely as possible in an appropriate and goal-oriented manner. Self-disclosures is an expressive skill that can be used effectively for this purpose. Although self-disclosures should be made judiciously according to their appropriateness for particular situations, they can be useful in helping the worker to promote open communication about difficult subjects. Responding skills. Skillful responses facilitates a group processes, helping the group as a whole and individual member to accomplish tasks. For example, if a worker's response supports a group member's efforts, the member is more likely to continue to work on task or a concern. If the worker disagrees with the member statement or action, the members is likely to react either by responding to worker statement or by remaining silent. The member is not likely to continue to pursue the original statement. Thus, by responding selectively to particular communication, the worker exert influence over subsequent communication patterns. Focusing skills. The worker can also facilitate group processes by focusing them in a particular direction. This can be done by clarifying, by repeating a particular communication or sequence of communications, or by limiting the range of discussion. Helping the group to maintain its focus can promote efficient work by reducing irrelevant communications and encouraging a full exploration of issues and problems. Guiding group interactions. In addition to focusing the group's communication, the worker may want to guide the group's interaction in a particular direction. By limiting or blocking a group member's communications, by encouraging a particular member to speak, or by linking one group member's communication to those of other group members, the workers can guide the group's interaction patterns. Involving group members. Ideally, all members should be involved and interested in the content of what is being discussed in the group. Involving members who have been silent help to identify commonalities and differences in their life experiences. As members becomes involved, they realize how particular problems affect them and how a solution to one member's problem can be directly or indirectly helpful to them. Involving others is also essential for building group cohesiveness, a sense of mutual aid and shared decision making. All these skills can be used by workers differentiality depending on their intentions when attempting to influence various group processes. Data gathering and assessment skills. Data gathering and assessment skills are useful in developing a plan for influencing communication pattern as well as in deciding on what action skills to use to accomplish the group's purpose. Identifying and describing skills. Perhaps the most basic data gathering skill in helping members identify and describe a particular situation. This skill allows for elaboration of pertinent factors that influence a problem or task facing the group. In using this skill, workers should attempt to elicit description that specify the problem attributes as clearly and concretely as possible. In order to understand the problem, it is often useful for the worker to identify or describe historically as well as current aspects of the problem. Requesting information, questioning and probing. The skills of identifying and describing a situation are essentially to workers' active attempts to gather data by requesting information, questioning and probing. Using these skills, workers work by obtaining additional information that may be useful to all members. The worker should be careful to ask questions that are clear and answerable. Double questions or value-laden questions may be met with resistance, passivity, anger and misunderstanding. Summarizing and partializing. When information has been discussed about the problems faced by the group, a worker can use summarizing or partializing skills. Summarizing skills enable worker to present the core of what has already been said in the group and provide members an opportunity for reflection about the problem. These skills give members and workers an opportunity to consider the next steps to take in solving the problem and allow members to compare their perceptions about what has gone in the group with workers' summary. Partializing skills are useful for breaking down a complex problem or issues into manageable bits. Partializing is also helpful in determining group members' motivation to work on various aspects of the problem. Analyzing skills. Once the data has been gathered and organized, the worker can use analyzing skills to synthesize data and make an assessment of how to proceed. Analyzing skills include pointing out patterns in the data, identifying gaps in the data, and establishing mechanisms or plans for how to obtain data to complete an assessment. Action skills. Directing. Action skills are most often used by the worker to help the group accomplish its task. Perhaps the most basic skill in this area is directing the action of the group. Whether the worker is clarifying the group's goal, helping members to participate in a particular program activity, leading the discussion, sharing some new information, or making an assessment of a particular problem. The worker is taking responsibility for directing the group's action. Directing skills are most effective when they are coupled with efforts to increase members' participation and input. The worker should not use directing skills without obtaining members' approval or without involving them in decisions about the direction the group should take to accomplish its goals. The worker should be aware of how each member reacts to being directed in a new component of group work. Synthesizing. Another useful action skill for group leader is synthesizing verbal and non-verbal communications. Skill such as making connections among the meanings behind a member's actions or words, expressing hidden agendas, making implicit feelings or thought explicit, and making connections between communications to point out themes and trends in members' actions or words are all examples of synthesizing skills. Synthesizing skills can be useful in providing feedback to members about how they are perceived by others. Because these skills often involve a considerable amount of judgment and conjecture about the facts that are available to the worker, they should be used cautiously, and all members should have the opportunity for input into the synthesis. Ideally, when the worker synthesizes a number of interactions or points out similarities in group problem solving or group communication patterns, all members should be given feedback about their perceptions of the situations. Supporting group members. In task and treatment groups, the ability to support members in a useful group leadership skill. The group's atmosphere should reflect a climate in which all members' experiences and opinions are valued. Members should be encouraged to be supportive of one another. The worker should support members by encouraging the expression of members' thoughts and feelings on topics relevant to the group by soliciting their opinion and by responding to their requests and comments. This may include encouraging the ventilation of feelings or thoughts by the member. In addition to encouraging members to share their concerns and support one another, the worker should point out members' strengths, demonstrate the effectiveness of the group in resolving the problems, and provide hope for progress or success. Reframing and redefining. Beyond synthesizing and eliciting data, a worker may want to use skills in reframing and redefining an issue or concern facing the group. Often, one of the greatest obstacles to the work of a group or of an individual group member is failure to view a problem from different perspectives in order to find a creative solution. Reframing is a cognitive technique used to help group members see situations or problems from another point of view. Reframing means to change the conceptual or emotional setting or viewpoint in relation to which the situation is experienced and to place it in another frame fits the facts of the same concrete situation equally well or even better, and thereby changes its entire meaning. The problem may be redefined and group members change their relationship with the member for whom there is problem. The problem often diminishes or disappears. Redefining and reframing the problem can help members to examine the problem from new perspectives. Resolving conflicts. One of the most important action skill is helping to resolve conflicts among members and conflicts with forces outside the group. Group members may come into conflict with one another for variety of reasons. In helping to overcome conflict, worker can help the group develop and maintain rules for participation. These rules are frequently expressed in early contractual discussion with members. Sometimes these rules, which should be developed with participation from all group members, sign at the beginnings of new group. The workers may also use moderating, negotiating, mediating or arbitrating skills to settle disputes. Moderating skills refer to keeping meetings within specified bounds so that conflict is avoided. Negotiating skills are used to help members come to an agreement or an understanding when initial opinion differs. Mediating skills are used when two or more members are in conflict and action is necessary to help them reach an agreement and resolve the dispute. Finally, arbitration skills are used in resolving conflicts by having an authoritative third person meet with the group. The third person listens to the disputing persons and binds them to a settlement. Sometimes it is helpful for the worker to meet persons outside of the group in order to resolve members' conflict. Advice, suggestions, instructions. Another cluster of action skills that both workers and members can use include giving advice, suggestions or instructions. Workers use these skills to help group members acquire new behavior, understand problems or change problematic solutions. Advice, suggestions or instructions should be timed appropriately so that group members are ready to accept. The worker should not act alone in giving advice, suggestions and instructions. The worker should encourage members to share information, advice and instructions with each other. To encourage members to share information and advice with each other, the worker should facilitate the development of helping network in which members share their life experiences, information and resources as well as their opinions and views. Confrontation skills. Confrontation is a useful skill in attempting to overcome resistance and to motivate members. Confrontation is the ability to clarify, examine and challenge behaviors so as to help members overcome distortions and discrepancies between behaviors, thoughts and feelings. Confrontation skills should be used only when the worker has carefully assessed the situation and decided that the confrontation will not be rejected by a member. If a member is not ready to examine thoughts, behaviors or feelings, the member may react negatively to a confrontation by becoming passive, angry or hostile. Providing resources. The agency has access to a wide variety of resources that the worker can make available to members, such as medical treatment, home health care, financial assistance, job and rehabilitation counseling, family planning and financial management consultation. Making use of these resources by accurate assessment and referral can be helpful to group members. The worker can also help members to explore resources used by other members of the group. In this way, the cumulative knowledge of all group members can be used to help connect a member to needed resources and to help the member gain some insight about what might be expected when attempting to utilize a particular resources. Modeling, role playing, rehearsing and coaching. The action skills of modeling, role playing and rehearsing situations in the group can be helpful in both treatment and task groups. Modeling refers to the worker or a member demonstrating behaviors in a particular situation so that others in the group can observe what to do and how to do it. Role playing refers to having the group members act out a situation with the help of each other. The two primary purposes of role playing are to assess members' skill when responding to an interpersonal situation and to help the member to improve particular responses. Rehearsing refers to practicing a new behavior or response based on the feedback received after doing a role play. Because it is difficult to learn new behaviors or to diminish less adapted but habituated behavior patterns, a member may have to practice a new response several times. Coaching is the use of verbal and physical instructions to help members who are having difficulty reproducing a particular response. Summary. This lesson focused on skills of group work. It also discussed the meanings of skill and skills of group work. Various authors have enumerated various skills required to deal with the group work practice. These skills are classified on the basis of their most common functions in the group. However, skills listed under one category may on occasion be used in another category, particularly if they are combined with other skills. Group leadership skills are behaviors or activities that help the group to achieve its purpose and tasks and help members achieve their personal goals. Both workers and members use leadership skills, although the worker ordinarily uses them more than any other member of the group. Some of the basic skills necessary for group leadership are categorized as follows in three categories: facilitating group processes, data gathering and assessment, and action. Under each classification of skills, there are various skills discussed comprehensively in this lesson. Model questions. What is a group work skill? What do you understand by attending skills? What are the three categories in social group work skills. References: Tosland R.W. and Rivas R. An Introduction to Group Work Practice, Boston, Allen and Bacon, 2001. Trecker H. Group Processes in Administration, Women's Press, New York, 1946.